Hey, what's up guys? Duct here, and today we're back on Hypixel Skyblock with yet another video, and today we're going to be going over the mining collection. So, last time we did the farming collection, today we're moving on to the mining collection, which has a similar amount of items. So the farming has, I don't know, somewhere like around that many, 3 on the bottom on that row, and the mining has 2, so, probably around the same length of video. Anyways, we're going to try and go through all the collections that are going to be worth it, which ones are not worth it, and help you out. Anyways, let's get right into it. Starting off with Cobblestone. Cobblestone is a pretty important one. There's the stone platform, which is not that useful except for getting the bottom of your island. There's the auto smelter, which is obviously useful for certain items like basically gold and iron minions. Also, occasionally you're going to use it on your cactus minions probably. Also, there's compactors, which you're for sure going to want for your ore minions. And there's also Miner's Outfit, which is really good because you have haste 2, which means you can break cobble very quickly with efficiency 5. There's also Haste Ring, which is a rare talisman. The thing is, it's really expensive with 4 stacks of enchanted cobble, but hey, it's worth it. It's a rare one. Also, there's a Super Compactor, which of course makes all your items into enchanted, so it's really good. It is also really expensive, costing around 400,000 coins on the auction house, so yeah. Moving on to coal. So coal, there's the enchanted lava bucket at coal 8, which at coal 9, there's actually nothing at the moment. It's coming soon, so don't know whether the skeleton pet egg is going to be good. Probably will be okay, I would imagine. I don't really know about pets, though, at this point. There's also enchanted charcoal, which is what you're going to want to use in the beginning when you don't have enchanted lava, but you're going to use enchanted charcoal for the 20% speed increase for 1 IRL day. So you're going to need quite a lot of this charcoal, so you will need a lot of coal to make this. Although it is definitely worth it for that 20% speed increase. Every 5 minions is essentially having another minion, so it's definitely worth it. There's also a haste potion here at coal 3, which is worth it if you're trying to go for haste 3. Essentially, it's worth it if you're trying to insta-break cobblestone or if you're trying to insta-break wood with a gold efficiency 5 tool. Moving on to iron. So iron's an interesting one. There's the enchanted hopper, which takes 5 enchanted iron blocks, and it sells all your items at 90% of the price from your minion. The problem is, it takes 5 enchanted iron blocks, which is extremely expensive, so pretty much nobody uses them. There's also the budget hoppers. The problem with the budget hopper is it only sells items for 50%. The thing is, pretty much people use the budget hopper, or none at all, because it's actually reasonable with only 5 enchanted iron. The other one is just ridiculous, so maybe eventually there'll be one in between, or eventually everyone will just have enchanted hoppers. So, probably eventually everyone will just have enchanted hoppers. There's also the Golem sword here at Iron 8, which is a pretty decent sword. Although, as I said before, people usually go for the aspect of the end over the Golem sword. But it is a reasonable replacement, and I believe it does do a little bit more damage. Although that more damage is replaced with a worse ability. Moving on to gold. So gold is not that useful at the moment. Right now, we're looking at, you got the absorption potion. You got the cleaver, which is okay-ish. I wouldn't usually suggest it because I would probably just go Undead Sword to Silverfang, but hey, it's there. So yeah, you just got the absorption potion. Gold is pretty useless at the moment. Although they did add a use for gold with the bank upgrades, which essentially you need enchanted gold blocks to actually upgrade your bank. So that, is needed. So now we're going to go on to the diamond collection. Diamonds is interesting. So there's perfect armor at tier 9, which is not really worth it. It goes all the way up to tier 10, which at tier 10 it is decent, but, well, it's really good at tier 10. The problem is the price for getting to tier 10, so if they do add a set bonus to perfect, it might be definitely worth it, although it depends on what that set bonus is. So there's been rumors of that set bonus coming, but I don't really know what it's going to be, or if it is even going to end up happening, so I can't really say on what that's going to be. Hard Diamond is also in here, which is a pretty good starting set, so you may want to go for that at Diamond 7. There's also Diamond Spreading Recipe at Diamond 6, which is definitely worth it. And besides that, there's the Portal to Deep Caverns, but the other beginning ones aren't really worth it. Well, obviously the minion, but I'm obviously not going over the minions in this. Alright, moving on to Lapis. Lapis is interesting. So at Lapis 9, you get the XP artifact, which gives you another 25% bonus XP, which is pretty much worth it, although it does take 9 enchanted lapis blocks, and it's not going to be cheap on auction if you're trying to get it that way either. It is worth it because it's an epic talisman, and it's actually a useful talisman. There's also Titanic XP bottles here, which people for some reason try to make. Don't make it. Just don't. Just make an experience artifact and auction it. And get XP from diamond minions and lapis armor. Just do that, okay? There's also an XP potion here, which is somewhat useful if you're really grinding out XP, although I wouldn't really use one. Great XP bow, also not that really useful, because you could just get them from fishing, and just a general XP is really easy to get from diamond minions, so I wouldn't do that either. And that's going to be the end of Lapis collection. Alright, now that we finished Lapis, let's move on to Emerald. So, Emerald, there's Emerald armor at tier 9, which used to be the best armor in the game. Currently, I would definitely not advise going for it. It is probably the least worth armor in the game to go for at the moment, because it is just not worth it. It's not. There's also the Emerald Blade here, which increases its damage based on your current balance, which, with a really high balance, can be really high damage, although not really worth it, because who wants to run around with 2 million coins? Also in the Emerald collection, there's the Personal Bank upgrade, which is worth it, although not that worth it, because it only works every 2 hours, whereas the Piggy Bank from the Farming collection in Pig 5, it works all the time. So I would say go for the Piggy Bank rather than the Personal Bank upgrade, but hey, if you get it along the way, it's there. And besides that, there's the Talismans of Coins and the Magnetic Talisman, which you're going to want to get because they're cheap and they're talismans. So let's do Redstone. So Redstone's a very interesting one. It actually has 11 tiers, unlike pretty much any of them. So in the beginning, you get the Small Accessory Bag upgrade, which is for your talismans. Then you move it on. What do you get? Well, you get a Compass Talisman, which isn't actually the game yet. Although that's going to be an epic talisman, so that will probably be worth it. There's also the Weather Stick at Redstone 6, which is somewhat worth it if you want to change the weather on your island for whatever reason. If you're fishing, you might want to do that, or some other purpose just to make your island look cool, I don't know. There's also the Medium Accessory Bag upgrade at 7, then 9, 10, and 11 are all accessory bag upgrades, which are worth it so that your inventory isn't full of talismans all the time. So now we're on to Quartz. So Quartz is also a pretty good one. It is one that is definitely worth going for. At Quartz 9, you get solar panels, which increase your minion speed by 25% only during the day, which if you have a daylight saver, it's going to be day all the time, which you get, well, the day saver, which you get from Quartz 3. The problem is, the day saver only works when you're online at the moment, and it doesn't work when you're offline. So, if it's not really worth going for the solar panels at the moment, unless you're going to just AFK all the time, and they're still pretty expensive, so I would just go for Enchanted Lava. Unless they're going to make solar panels work when you're offline with your day savers, then it might count differently. Also in the Quartz collections, there's the Day and the Night Crystal, which basically increase your strength and defense by 5 during the day, both do the same thing, and they're also both rare talismans, so definitely going to get these, and they're not super expensive. And you can buy the quartz from spawn, so I would probably buy the quartz from spawn to make these, or buy one in auction house. Definitely worth it, as they're both rare talismans, and they're not super expensive. And lastly, the quartz collection that's worth it is the minion expander, if you're going to go for a personal mining thing. So if you're going to mine up quartz, you're going to mine up diamonds, emeralds, gold, iron, whatever, you're going to want minion expanders, because anything you're going to manually do with minions, you're going to want minion expanders, because they increase the range of how much stuff you can break. For example, I could go ahead and show you our diamond minions on our island. You see right here, we have minion expanders in all these. We have 2 minion expanders, which means it's actually not a 3x3. Normally it'd be like this. It goes out one more with 1 minion expander. It goes out a whole another one with 2. So really, right now, this one minion is doing a 9x9 area rather than normally doing a 7x7, which makes a big difference in how much diamonds or how much whatever item you're going to be breaking. So it is definitely worth getting if you're going to be the type of person that mines up a lot of things manually. It's also worth it for things like potatoes, which you can't exactly farm regularly, because only really sugarcane, pumpkins, and melons are actually really working farms. So like cocoa beans, potatoes, leatherwort, carrots, all those kinds of things would be greatly benefited by minion expanders, because you would be able to break so much more. Moving on to Obsidian. So in Obsidian, there's the Ender Chest upgrades, which are really worth it, although they are kind of hard to get. The last Ender Chest upgrade being at 50,000 Obsidian, so I would definitely go for this. It gives you a massive Ender Chest, which is definitely worth it. Like, this is literally a double chest Ender Chest. It is definitely worth it, and would definitely advise getting it. Pretty much the only other thing in the Obsidian collection is the Gravity Talisman. There's also the Stun Potion, which isn't really worth it, so pretty much just the Gravity Talisman. Alright, so Glowstone collection is one that's not super worth it, although enchanting Glowstone is really valuable for potions. So, basically, there's a portal to the Blazing Fortress, and that's it. So, yeah, that's the entirety of the Glowstone collection. Gravel is not great, but hey, you know, it's somewhat useful. The critical potion is really worth it, though, at Gravel 7, because you can increase your crit chance with the potion by 20% at crit 3, which then that means you only have to have 80% crit chance by default, and then you can essentially drink a potion and be at 100% crit chance, which is really nice to have for killing anything, so that you're able to one-shot a bunch of stuff. Besides that, there's pretty much just the flint shovel and the portal to Spider's Den, so I would say Gravel 7 worth. Past Gravel 7, it's literally mining XP, so yeah. Moving on to Ice. So Ice has the magical water bucket, which is worth it if you're building a farm, although it's not that expensive, and yeah, it's just worth it if you're building a farm. Besides that, pretty much there's nothing in here, so you know, it's worth it for the minion, I guess. Netherrack, literally the worst, if not one of the worst collections. There's only 3 collections within it, and the best thing in it is the Netherward Island. So, yeah. Sand is also a questionable one. Like, there's nothing that great. Most of the stuff is just for the sand minion upgrades. Then there's a couple trades, and there's a desert biome stick, I guess, and a burning potion and hard glass, which is, I guess, useful if you're trying to make a creeper thing. And that's about it. And our last collection for today, Endstone. So Endstone is a relatively new one, actually, coming from the end update. At Endstone 9, there's the Endstone sword, which is okay-ish. It's kind of expensive, but, you know, it's an alright sword. It doesn't do that much damage, though, so I would not normally advise the Endstone sword. There's also the Catalyst recipe, which is okay. It increases the resource created by a minion by 3 for 3 hours, which is pretty decent, although it's not quite the cheapest, so that's up to you there. It does, well, crystal fragments, you could get a decent amount of them, but yeah, I don't know. Catalyst, not bad. Definitely not bad. There's also some weird ones like the haste block, the silence block, which are useful on your island, possibly. And besides that, there's pretty much just the portal to the end. So that's the Endstone collection. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of our video over the mining collection. I hope it really helps some of y'all out that are wondering about what's really worth it in the mining collection, what's good, what should I focus on, that kind of thing. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, consider liking the video. It helps me out a lot. And if you're new here, maybe consider subscribing for more content here on my channel. Anyways, I'll see y'all later, guys. Peace.